Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to my farewell for 2025. So I thought I would run you through everything that happened this year, my favorites, everything that worked, everything that didn't work, and what I will be doing next year. So before we start, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Now, to kick off my favorites, I thought what better than to start with some journals. These are my paper blank journals. I used a plethora of these this year. This is just a selection of them, microphone included. So safe to say they have been a staple for my 2025. I use them for everything from uni to journaling to weekly planning, you name it. I probably had a paper blanks journal for it. So if you ever see me using a journal, 9 times out of 10, it will probably be one of those. Not only because they just work so well with the next object, but also because they are just so beautiful. The Mary Shelley one for Frankenstein is my most recent addition, and I am never not baffled by how beautiful they are. So after mentioning said second object, my second favorite of this year is my Ferris wheel press fountain pen, specifically the Bijou pen. I feel like I owe this pen my social media career because a lot of you seem to be obsessed with my handwriting, and specifically this pen along with it. It's a beautiful pen. I love it dearly. I use it every day, so I don't really know what else to say besides it's gorgeous. I would not have gotten through this year without it. Next on my favorite list is a little bit left of center. It is my water bottles. I have two. I have the Burger one, and I also have a Stanley that is currently in the dishwasher. But I have been obsessed for years with ludicrously large water bottles, simply because they are the only reason that I actually drink enough water. But I digress. You will not find me without one of these things on me. I also have slightly smaller ones that fit in my handbag, but water bottles in general have been a consistent theme of 2025 because I've been trying to clear my skin. It's kind of worked this year, but we'll be working on it still next year. And one of the key recommendations for that is water. So take this as your sign to start drinking more water in 2026. Another thing that a lot of people seem to be sharing their opinions about on my social media is the fact that I wear 2 scents, and 2 rather strong scents. The first one that has only been a recent addition over the last couple months is the Fleur Vanilla Skin. I love this thing. I can put it on before the gym and I can still smell it after my session. So that is always a good sign when it comes to a body mist. But the key figure of my signature scent stack, say that 3 times fast, is the Mason Francis Kirk de Jean Satin Mood Oud Satin Mood. This one, it smells really good. I've been wearing it for 4 years. This is still my first large bottle and I'm only halfway through. That is how little I use, and yet it is so strong and I have to put it on once and that's it. That's me done for the day. I will disclaim that this is a very expensive scent, hence why I use it so sparingly, not only because of how potent it is, but also because it costs my bank account a lot. But it is absolutely worth it, in my opinion. Next on the list is tweed. I have been obsessed with tweed this year. Summer, autumn, winter, spring, you will catch me in some tweed, whether it's a waistcoat, pants, jacket, a 3-piece suit, you name it. I have worn it this year. Specifically waistcoats. I don't know what it's been about waistcoats, but 2025 has been the year of tweed waistcoats, at least for me. The next object or objects of my favorites is my Republic of Florence bags. I have 3 of them, not 3 of the same bag, but I have 3 of their pieces. I'm very grateful to have 3 of their pieces. I have the Florence tote that has recently been remade, so mine looks a little bit different because it's the older version, but the Florence tote, the Hippocrates bag, which a lot of people seem to be obsessed by, and my most recent one is the Amerigo bag, and I literally take them with me everywhere. If I'm doing an overnight trip to my partner's, I will be using the overnight bag. My handbag is practically attached to me, and the Hippocrates bag was my go-to for uni, so needless to say, another key motif of 2025 was the Republic of Florence. Another kind of, I guess if you want to call it personality trait, is my obsession with L'Occitane. I've now learned how to say it. It's L'Occitane. It's not L'Occitane. Please excuse my blasphemy in a previous post, but it's L'Occitane, and this is my second tube of theirs. It is absolutely abused, as you can tell, but it is their 25% shea butter hand cream. I have really dry hands, like borderline eczema hands, and so this is the only thing that keeps my hands looking normal. And kind of along those lines is their cuticle oil. This is with me everywhere. I have one in my handbag, one in my desk drawer, one on my bedside table. I eat, sleep and breathe these things in a not literal way. I use their hand soap, their shower oil. I should probably invest in L'Occitane at this point because that's how much of their stuff I own. And that's just simply because I have been using it since I was 13. Because that is what my mum taught me to shave my legs with. I don't know if that's TMI, but I've been using L'Occitane for well over a decade now, and I could not be more grateful for that. The final segment, if you will, of this favourites haul for 2025 is my lip stack. Lipstick. It includes a lipstick. It is what I put on my lips. Shout out to my best friend Michaela for introducing me to the Morphe lip pencils. They are ridiculously cheap and they work absolutely phenomenally. I currently have this one on. It is Makeup Talk. It is a beautiful nudie colour. I also use this Chanel lipstick, which is Rouge Allure. I bought this when I went overseas last year. That was my only little splurge on my overseas trip, besides a 3-piece tweed suit. But I digress. The final thing I use, I will never not be caught with one of these. I have every single flavor, colour. I have every single one besides the mint one and the cherry one. And that's just because they don't sit well with me. I will never be caught without 1, 2, or all of these. That's not correct English, but I digress. I love these. I wear them every day. I have slightly different variants of the same theme. I'm one of those people that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll just buy it in every single colour if I need a new colour in it. So what can I say? Now, moving on. 2025. What a year. What the heck? I started it in Scotland. That feels like several years ago, but in fact it was only 12 months. I don't know how to feel about it. I wish I was in Scotland now. Anywho, but we're going to start with that. That is a mood board, an action board, a vision board, whatever you want to call it. And I put some goals on it at the start of the year. I say that. I put it on the 19th because that's when I got back from the UK. But this is everything I achieved off of that vision board. So I think starting with the most exciting was getting first class honours at uni. I started the year not even knowing if I was going to be getting into honours, let alone finishing with first class. So it has been quite a 12 months. I got the email, I think it was like the 22nd of January, and I had less than 2 weeks to go from 0 to 100, and I did not stop. I have not stopped. I probably should stop, but I could not be happier. It was so worth it. It changed me as a human being, and I know that sounds very dramatic to say, but even the experience of possibly finding out that it was a no changed how I viewed things. It taught me that I can pivot and that sometimes life does not go to plan and we can pivot and that's okay. However, I would like to refrain from sobbing in Stratford-upon-Avon again if I can help it. I guess my second major achievement of the year was growing my community online. That was a really big kind of goal for me. I've always been a very creative person. I've always wanted to build my own community of like-minded individuals, and that's what I'm doing. And this year has seen exponentially large growth, especially on my TikTok and Instagram. That kind of really kicked off in the middle of the year, and I kind of just had to strap myself in and go from there. So I could not be more grateful for every single one of you. It has been such a joy to get to know some of you, know that I've made an impact in people's lives, and I can't wait to keep going because that's what this is about. It's about helping people, sharing my journey, and hopefully encouraging you to do the same. Kind of along with that, I learnt to trust myself and show the most authentic version of myself. I spent 3 years at college trying to be everything that I naturally am not, which sounds really contradictory and like, why would I want to be there? But I digress. That in itself was a lesson. But this year I really wanted to sow into myself, into my authenticity, into what makes me me. And that has been such a joy to kind of look to the start of the year and then look to now and see how much progress I've made in kind of just being myself and not being afraid of it, being okay with failing and being okay with being different, because not everyone is going to like you. That is a matter of fact. You can't be everyone's cup of tea, and so you may as well be the most authentic, strong version of the tea that is you. Excuse that awful metaphor. Let's continue. And finally, I'm going to call this a win, even though it didn't kind of happen across all areas, was consistency. I started off the year with the goal of reading a poem every morning. And then I realized that if I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning to get to work on some days, that reading a poem every morning is not going to happen. However, I was consistent in some very other key areas of my life. And that was one of the words that was on my vision board, was consistency. It will kind of be transferred onto my 2026 vision board, but I'm very proud of the progress that I've made. Also listening to my body and actually being consistent with that. I think that's a main one, is being very self-aware. That is a big win for this year. Now, I didn't achieve everything on that board, and that's okay. These are still things that I can achieve next year, but they just didn't happen this year. The first one is moving out with my partner. Now, this year has been a massive journey for both of us. We both put it down as a goal for this year to move out together. And that didn't happen. It was because of a lot of things. It was because of my uni, because of his work, because of so many little things. And in some respects, that sucks. But I also can't change what's happened. I can only plan forward and aim to move out with him next year. I'm very excited. I will be making it happen, whether I like it or not. But yes, so that was the first main one that I didn't get to tick off, and that will just get transferred over to my 2026 board. And the other one was no Afterpay or PayPal in 4. Now, this is a half win, half lose situation because I cancelled my Afterpay account and I have not used it all year, which I see as a win. However, the PayPal Pay in 4 is a very different story. And that's just simply because sometimes it's easier to do that. And going into next year, I'm just not letting myself do that because it has kicked me in the guts so many times. Financially, it is just not smart. Losing the same amount of money every single fortnight, it's just not good for budgeting. It's not good for my soul, and I will not be doing it in 2026. However, I will be getting more financially literate in 2026. So stay tuned for my 2026 board and everything that is kind of going on that. And that is a lovely transition into the major goals I have for 2026. I will not be sharing all of them because I don't want to jinx myself, but I also want to keep you aware of what could be going on in the next 12 months. Now, I've actually already ticked one of these off, and I didn't mean to. But I got accepted into my MPhil, and that was a goal for 2026, was to start my MPhil. So, yay, I'm starting my MPhil in April 1st. So I only have 3 months of holidays left, and I'm working in those holidays. So I have 3 months off of uni until I start my MPhil, Masters of Philosophy. I'm very excited. It still feels surreal. My next major goal for 2026 is trying to incorporate as much anti-inflammatory lifestyle pillars as possible. My body is still very inflamed. I'm still trying to understand how and why that is. My skin is one of those major inflammation points. Same with my digestion. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty, but needless to say, 2026 is the year of anti-inflammatory lifestyle for Sarah. And if people are interested, I am very happy to share what I will be doing, how I will be doing it, what I'm incorporating week to week, to kind of tick that off. But one of my major goals for 2026 is to sort out my health and just everything that's going on with that, because there are a couple of things that need to be assessed. As I said before, a major goal for 2026 is to move out with my partner. That's all I can say. We've been saving, and the economy at this point is eye-watering. I can't change that. All I can do is prepare myself for it. And so moving out could be in so many different ways. I just have to kind of figure out what works best for us. It takes two to tango, and he's not here, so I can't speak for him, but that is a major goal, is to move out with him next year. And finally, something that kind of aligns with uni and very much aligns with this is my own self-led learning journey. I have so many interests outside what I study at university and what I'm interested in researching full-time. And I want to pursue that, which is kind of why I started this. Also why I started my book club, The Gentlewoman's Library, on Fable and on Instagram, TikTok. It's everywhere. It's kind of my baby. I'm very excited because we read books from all aspects of history, philosophy, non-fiction, fiction, just trying to be as well-read and well-rounded as possible, because that is a goal of mine. I don't want to just stick in medieval English history. I want to know everything. I want to be a polyglot, if you will. It takes a lot more than just that to be a polyglot, but we'll get to that at some point. But yes, my self-led learning journey and prioritizing that monthly is a big goal for me. I have so many others that I'm not going to share because, as I said, I don't want to jinx myself, but those are kind of the main 4 that are kind of really shaping my plan plan for next year. And kind of to finish, we can't control what happens next year. This is just kind of a plan. These notes are just a plan. I just have to go into it with the most open and flexible mindset possible, because life is a journey. We don't get to decide everything that happens in it. We just kind of have to buckle up, and I plan to document it. So I can't wait to show you everything that happens in 2026. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to hear what you guys are doing in the new year. I would love it if you could join my book club, if you'd like to join me on social media, or subscribe here to get more weekly updates. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the new year. Bye!